Welcome to my video of tips and tricks to make your VEX Robotics or VEX IQ team qualify for your state championship and even the VEX World Championship. I'm Dave Kelly and I've been involved with competitive robotics for 25 years. There are many mentors who have been as successful or more successful than I have been. But I have a great deal of experience with helping teams qualify for a championship. Success breeds success, and every time a team makes it to a state championship, their program becomes stronger, and the students build tremendous confidence which they carry into life. This has been the greatest reward for me to see how many of my former students are now successful in their lives and their STEM-related careers. Unfortunately, ALS is starting to rob me of my voice, and I want to take this opportunity to help other teams experience what it's like to be a championship team. Just a quick warning, competitive robotics can be very addicting, not only for the students, but for the mentors and the parents. Not all robotics teams and programs may want to strive to become a champion. Building a robot and going to a competition can be an incredibly fun experience. There is nothing wrong with having fun with robotics. However, this video is geared for those who have their sights on making it to their state championship. I have 5 categories of tips I will be sharing in this video. I guarantee if you listen to these tips and follow them, you will increase your chances of qualifying for a state championship. Usually, the whole thing starts with the game release video. So, you've just finished watching the game release video, and now what do you want to do? You want to build a robot. Before you start thinking about any robot designs, read the game manual. Read it from the beginning to the end, all of the sections, then read it again. Read the game manual. My robot's going to scoop up all the balls on the field. But what about rule SG8? Only 3 buckyballs. Read the game manual. I'm going to build a super wide robot that can push all of the hubs. Don't forget, your robot may not expand beyond its 11 by 20 inches. Read the game manual. I'm going to build a robot that stops the opponent robot from scoring. Don't forget about the trapping rule. Start your season with your team documenting how to score points for the game in your design notebook. Also, document standout game and robot rules. This is your design problem to solve. You don't often hear of casinos going bankrupt. You know why? They know how to keep the odds in their favor. The best way to qualify for the state championship is keep the odds in your favor. The best way to play is play all the odds. Most teams focus on match play. After all, isn't that what being a champion means? Absolutely. Being in the top 5% of a tournament means you are well on your way to a state championship. Most tournaments only have 4 to 8 teams who qualify by being in the finals or semifinals. Chances are Many of the teams who are taking those spots were winning teams last year also. Increase your odds by studying those teams and asking them about their robots. Most teams will tell you everything you want to know. Typically, your odds of qualifying for a championship in match play are around 1 in 10. It is very important to understand in match play, the team who gets the most points wins. If in every match of the tournament your team got one more point than the rest of the teams, you will be the champion. With that in mind, when starting to evaluate the game, analyze how it is possible to make the most points. Whatever that function is, make sure your robot is very good at it. But don't forget the other ways to score. Most championship robots are able to score in every manner possible within the game, and they are especially good doing what scores the most points. Many teams are too busy building a robot to even pay attention to awards. But most tournaments have the Excellence Award and the Design Award as qualifying awards for the state championship. Both of these require a design notebook. If the truth be known, usually half of the teams either have no design notebook or a very poor design notebook. Usually there is less than 10 well-done design notebooks at a qualifying tournament. Doing a quality design notebook and paying attention to the criteria for the awards brings your odds to qualifying for the state championship to around 1 out of 5. Go to the RECF Foundation website and look under the Event Partner section and find the Judge's Handbook. This handbook gives you exactly what the judges are being told to judge on and gives you the scoring guides they will be using. Following this guidance will have you providing the judges with exactly what they're looking for. Advisors and mentors, one of the best things you can do to help your team qualify for the state championship with an award is to take a weekend your team is not competing and volunteer to be a judge at a competition. The information you will gather will be invaluable. All of the game manuals say participating in the skills is an optional activity. Many students think, why should I participate in skills? There is only one robot skills champion at an event. What chance do I have of getting that? However, what many teams don't realize is that all season long, the top teams qualify multiple times for the state championship. This usually leaves dozens of open spots for the state championship. How are these spots filled? You guessed it, they take the highest skill score from the season of the teams who have not qualified. Participating in skills matches brings your odds of qualifying for your state championship to around 1 out of 2. If you do all three of these things, participate in match play, focus on the Excellent Design Award, and participate in the skills, your team will become like a casino, and the odds will be stacked well in your favor for a trip to your state championship. One of the things that will lead to success is paying attention to the design cycle. Use it to design a robot to solve the problem of how to successfully play the game. Document how you use the design cycle in your design notebook. Be sure to include the results of any tests you do in the design notebook. For instance, if you're testing how many game pieces will fit in a goal, be sure to record this in a chart within your notebook. Define the problem of how to play the game at least 3 times. Once after you've watched the game video and read the rules, again after you've seen a full playing field completely set up, and a third time after you've seen your first competition. Be sure to stress how your team used the design cycle throughout the season when talking to judges in an interview. One important aspect of the design cycle that is often overlooked is if the design solved the problem, you exit the cycle. Robotics competitors love to tinker with their robot. A common mistake teams make is that they tinker with their robot right up until their competition, and they have no time for practicing or programming. I have often said building a robot is easy. Working together as a team is hard. There is a reason why colleges and employers love robotics students. They have already had a great deal of practice working in a team. There are many aspects of creating a successful team. However, 2 of the important pillars are communication and consensus. Whether it's a high-tech method of communication such as creating a Slack channel or a low-tech method such as using sticky notes, it's essential there is a method of communication for the team to use. Too many times I've seen a team builder miss a meeting and everybody else on the team does not know what the builder was planning. The team starts by dismantling what the team builder has done or building in a totally different direction than what was planned. Not many things can create tension within a team as fast as this can. If you really want to impress the judges, be sure to document in your design notebook your methods of communication. Your design notebook is also an excellent tool for communication. Decision making is perhaps one of the hardest parts of working together as a team. Consensus is perhaps the best model to follow. Consensus means everyone in the group either agrees or can live with the decision. No one is against the team's decision. Unanimous decisions are usually very hard to come by. A majority decision may leave team members who really hate the decision and will continually work to undermine the team by saying, "See, I told you that wouldn't work." Consensus is by far the better of the 3 choices, and you probably guessed it by now. You should document your decision-making guidelines in your design notebook. You may have seen a YouTube video on building a robot in 3 days. However, what most people miss is these are 3 10 or more hour days. Your team may have to go to 4 or 5 weeks of work sessions to accumulate that many hours. Championship teams spend time outside of their regular work sessions. You may not be fortunate enough to take your robot equipment home, but there are many things that can be done outside of the work session, such as working on game strategies, developing programming project templates, checking the VEX forum game Q&As, and filling in details within your design notebook. It is important to plan out your time. Count out the number of work sessions you have between now and your first competition. My general rule is to split this time into 50% of the time devoted to building, 25% of the time devoted to programming, and 25% of the time devoted to practice. This will ensure you break out of the design cycle early enough that you'll have an autonomous program for the competition and know how to operate your robot. As an added benefit, it will allow you to find the weak spots in your robot before you reach the competition, and you'll have time to fix the problems. However, part of the same rule is to document 100% of the things you are doing during your time in your design notebook. Follow all of these guidelines I've shared with you, and I am certain you will be well along the road to reaching your championship. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are many videos of robot competitions and instructions there. Until next time, remember your pathway to success is to follow your own road.